Hi everyone, whether you're a CA student or a prospective student or a chartered accountant, welcome guys. This video is going to talk about the new CA course. Yes, you heard it right. ICI has come up with a brand new CA course this 1st of July 2023, and this course overall is much shorter. It is much easier, has lesser subjects, but guys, this course has opened up a lot of questions among students, and this video is just to address all of that. I've broken down this very short video into different parts, and whether you're a current student or a prospective student or just a plain chartered accountant wanting to know what the new course is all about, this one video will help you take you through every detail of this new curriculum. So watch it till the end. This is the only English video. If you're looking to watch a Hindi video, then I also have another Hindi video. You can watch that as well. So here we go. Without wasting any more time, let's dive into this fabulous new CA course ICI has introduced. All right, so first things first, what are we looking at? Overall thoughts on the new CA curriculum. Here are my overall thoughts, and then we'll go into details. Guys, this is the new CA course given by ICI, and they don't call it, of course, the new CA course. Just one moment. Yes, so they are calling this the new scheme for education and training, NSET. This is actually the new CA course. So any person who wants to pursue CA now has to be pursuing it under this course. And I have broken this video in a couple of parts. So let me tell you the first part which we're talking about. We're talking about first new students. So if you're a new student who is looking to take up the CA course, then you should be watching the first part of the video. The second part of the video is talking about people who want to transition. That means if you're an existing student, then how do you transition to the new scheme is what I'm talking about in the next part of the same video. It's a very short video. Watch it till the end and you'll understand what all details there are. So let's talk about the first one, which is the new course, and for which a new student who is looking to enter into the CA course. And in that, let's talk about a student who's giving his 10th, 12th exams. Let's talk about that person who's entering through the foundation route. For people who are new, what is this foundation route? Guys, if you're in the 10th standard or till the 12th standard, if you're one of these, then you can choose to give the first level, the entry level exam, which is called the foundation exam. This is the base exam. People who anyways have an idea about the CA course, this is the first exam. This is that first lap of exam that is called the foundation exam. So when do I have to register for this exam? You can register for this exam anytime after you clear your 10th exam. Yes, you can start really early. You can't give this exam. You can just register, and you can register till you give the 12th exam, somewhere around that time. After that's the earliest you can register under this for the foundation exam. When does the foundation exam happen? The foundation exam happens every year in June and December. So 2 attempts, like always, 2 exams every year of foundation. And it is basically just 4 papers. Earlier also it used to be 4 papers. Now also it is 4 papers. I'll go into the details of the papers. But the papers are basically objective and subjective. 2 papers are objective. 2 papers are subjective. Objective means you have to choose between A, B, C, D. Subjective means you have to write answers. And in the objective, subjective papers, negative marking is there for the objective answers, MCQs. And there is a 2.5 negative marking. What I mean by 0.25 is that if you answer something wrong, 0.25% marks are cut. Now, this is overall the curriculum. Now, let's talk about what are the 4 papers. So, the first paper is accounting. It's now called advanced accounting, but basically it's accounting. Has it changed from the last curriculum? Earlier foundation also had accounting. Yes, a few topics have been added, but nothing really major. Then there is law. Of course, again, law, some part has been added. I'll tell you later why, but again, it's overall a really nice paper. So accounting, law, audit is, sorry, not audit, my bad. So there is accounting, there is law. Then of course, there is everyone's either favorite or subject that they don't like, mathematics, and then there is economics. So these are 4 papers that are there at the CA foundation level. You need to clear all these 4 papers. There is no revaluation at this stage. So even if you don't clear, you have to give it again. There is no revaluation at this stage. The fees for this stage is rupees 9,000 only. Only when I say it's because it includes everything, registration fee, study material, everything comes in just 9,000. So this is basically the foundation exam. Now let's talk about timelines. When do you need to register in the foundation exam? I've just given my 10th, can I register? I've given my 11th, can I register? I'm going to give my 12th. Yes, you can register anytime. But if you want to, the earliest you can give basically the exam is if you're giving your 12th standard exam. Let's say example, I'm just writing, if you're giving your exam in the month of March 24 next, then you can write this exam, a foundation exam, in June. So it's so quick. Yes, it's very quick. March, you give a 12th exam, foundation you give in June. But to make sure this happens, you need to give a 4-month gap. Basically, you need to fill up your form or you need to register at least 4 months in advance. So 4-month gap basically means that before the June exam, May, April, March, and Feb. So Feb, March, April, May. So basically 1st Feb is the due date. I'm just writing here for this one, you need to register by 1st Feb if you want to give the June exam. And similarly for December exam, go 4 months backwards. That's when you need to give register for that exam. Most people, if you want to save time, then immediately after your March exam, study a little bit and then give your June exam, that is the foundation exam. This is how it is. The foundation exam remains more or less the same, and this is what the entry level is. Now let's talk about the next leg. What is the next leg? If I don't want to give the foundation exam, can I avoid it? Yes, you can avoid it. So I'm talking about B part here. B part is direct entry. Basically, I don't want to give the foundation exam. So can I enter through the direct entry? Yes, you can enter the direct entry. Direct entry basically means you don't need to give the foundation exam. So no foundation exam. Then isn't that better? Because then you don't have to clear. But direct entry, you have to wait till graduation. So basically, this is a slightly slower process. People who want to take life easy, they want to figure out what they want to do in graduation. So this is something that some people choose. So in direct entry, when do you register? Basically, again, you can register anytime you're graduating. So while you're graduating, and not just that, even while you're post-graduating, graduating or post-graduating, anytime you can register. Again, here also, you need to register and then give your next exam. So foundation exam will not be there for you. But there's a catch. If you're graduating, you need to have minimum 50% marks if you're graduating from commerce, and if you're graduating from any other stream, then 55% marks are required. So you basically need some specific percentage, otherwise you will not be able to eligible to be giving this exam. But how will they know? My graduation happens in the month of March 24, and the exam is in the month of May, or whichever the next exam is. They say in this case we will provisionally register you. So you can get provisionally registered. What does provisional registration basically mean? They will trust you, they will believe you that you'll be clearing our graduation exams. In India, mostly we do clear our graduation exams. So you'll register provisionally, and then you'll need to upload the final results. Final results means the graduation results above 50-55%. Only then you can give the inter exam. So either you go to the direct entry route or to the foundation route. One more thing in the direct entry route basically means that you, even if you've given the entry level of CS or CMA, then also you can avoid the foundation exam, because that entry and foundation are almost the same, and hence you can directly go to the CA inter exam. So these are two entry criteria we are talking about. Now, whether you've entered through this or this, any of these mechanisms, what is the next level? So here we go. I'm talking about A, which is foundation route. So either you've come through the foundation route or you've come through B, direct entry route. Both of them have to give the next exam. So now the journey becomes slightly common. Both of them have to give the next exam, which is the intermediate exam, which is popularly called the inter exam, CA inter exam. Is this the second exam? Yes, this is the second exam for foundation students. For direct entry students, obviously, it's the first exam. Are there any changes, or what is first? I'll tell you what there is in the new scheme, and then I'll tell you what is the change from the earlier scheme. As in the inter exam now, in the new exam, we have only 6 papers. So basically 2 papers have been removed, which is really great news. We'll talk about which papers have been removed, but let's focus on 6 papers. Again, you have to clear 6 papers. They've been divided into 2 groups. One is group number 1. We'll talk about the subjects in group 1. And there is group number 2. We'll talk about the subjects in group 2 also. I will not be talking about in detail about every subject, because guys, my name is SOURABH MUTHA. And if you know, I am a tax faculty. I teach DT and IDT both at CA inter and CA final level. So I'll be talking about my baby, that is tax, in more detail, but we'll just talk about it. So there are 2 groups here, three papers, and you need to clear 6 papers to clear your inter exam. Now, what was the change? Earlier, there were 8 papers. I'm just going to write here what was the earlier in the old scheme, what was the case. There were 8 papers. So now 8 papers have reduced, are no more there. So now there are only 6 papers. Earlier, you could give group wise and start your articleship. Now also, you can give group wise, but you cannot start your articleship. So you need to clear both groups. So basically, you need to clear both groups cleared for articleship. So this is a stage which is very critical, and this is a very big change now. Unless you clear both the groups, you cannot start your articleship. Group 1 basically again has accounts, so accounts continues. But there were earlier 2 accounting papers, now they made it 1 accounting paper. Next, they have law. Law, some part of CA final law has been incorporated here because CA final law has been removed. You'll see very soon. And of course, my baby tax, which is GST and DT, is discussed here. I'll talk about the tax payment detail at the end. Next, in the second group, we have costing. Yes, it's a very big change. Costing was earlier in the first group. Now they pushed it to the second group. Of course, there is audit and something called FM and SM. They've combined together, financial management and strategic management. So basically, there are 6 papers. How many marks do we need? Individually, you need 40 marks. So out of 100, you need 40 marks, but overall aggregate, you need 50. What do I mean? If I get 40, 40, 40 in all the 3, then my score will be 120, but I will not clear. I need to get 150 marks. So aggregate means that. So basically, aggregate needs to be 50% in overall per group. Next, guys, a good change is their MCQs. Earlier also there were MCQs. So MCQs now in all papers. So 30% of the marks are MCQs. This was again a big change. Earlier MCQs were there only in few papers. Now they're in all the papers. A really, really good thing is there is no negative markings. That means what? That means for a smart student, even if you make a wide guess and you write the right answer or you write an answer which is right, great. If it's wrong, still no negative marking. So that's a big plus. So I think at inter level, it's a big, big, big win. 2 subjects removed, MCQs in all papers, no negative markings are great. So which are the papers that, what are the topics that have been removed? Topics like EIS has been removed. And topics like economics has been removed from here, and 1 accounting paper, which is combined in the accounting paper. So not everything is there in accounts, but a little bit of the other accounting paper has been merged. So there's only 1 accounting paper, 6 papers. That's great. What's coming up next? So we discussed this. Now let's move ahead. By the way, some more details. The fees of this course is 18,000. So earlier it was 9 for the foundation one. Now it's 18. Not much, honestly, considering what the CA course offers in the long run. It gives you great monetary opportunities. So I think it's not a very, very big deal. Now what happens next, whether you're inter foundation route or direct entry route, once you clear both these exams, then you start practical training. So this is the next one. This is called practical training. Let's see what is there in practical training. Now, practical training is a 2-year practical training. Yes, earlier, guys, it used to be 3 years. I'm writing the old thing here. Now, it has been reduced from 3 years. It has now become 2 years. So, practical training is just 2 years, but it is uninterrupted. Basically, you will not get any leaves because both your groups have been cleared. So, you will not get any leaves there. Of course, still, they've allowed 12 leaves. That is basically 24 leaves overall, aggregate over 2 years you can take. So that's practical training. Good part, money machine music in the background. Your stipend has increased, so that's good. But I'm just going to write some dollars here. So it's more stipend now. But overall, practical training also is a big change from 3 years to 2 years. One more thing, you can take up industrial training as well. Industrial training basically means working in the industry under a CA. It's not doing audit, tax, etc. It's basically doing finance jobs. So this is interesting and you can do it. Industrial training, it is basically for 9 months to 12-month period, and it can be done in the last year of the 2-year period. So it is inclusive. Yes, it is inclusive. And it is optional. I'm putting here a hashtag mark. It's optional. It's not compulsory. Industrial training, if you want, it's optional and can be taken up. So this is where you complete your practical training. You understand what is a CA course more in detail and what does a CA do practically. And that when you are ready for the final course. So this is your practical training and this is your final syllabus. So now let's see what is there in the final course or what is there in the final exam. Again, guys, final exam is now only 6 papers. Yes. Again, there's a big change. Earlier, old syllabus, there were 8 papers. Now it has become 6 papers. If you're a transition student, don't worry, guys. I have discussed transition also ahead after this. So 8 papers have been removed and they've put 6 papers. Which papers have been removed? I'll tell you again. There is group 1 and there is group 2. So there are 2 groups. And again, I'll tell you why giving both the groups makes sense, because the first group has accounts Of course, it's called advanced accounts, has audit, and has advanced FM. So I call it the triple A group because as you can see, it's AAA. And group 2 is my baby because it has direct tax, plus it has GST, etc., indirect taxes. And this last new thing, which is a case-based paper. Now, a case-based paper, I'm just marking another star mark, is not a new paper. It is basically case studies, which will come from all the different subjects. It can come from any group 1 or group 2 subject. And hence, I feel there are actually only 5 papers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This fifth paper, you don't have to study something else. It is an open paper, open book. So basically, you can carry your books to the exam hall and you can see where is the answer, etc. You can basically read and also write. So that's a great thing. So 8 subjects have become 6. Now, which subjects have been removed? Law has been removed and costing has been removed as a formal paper. But they've done something else, which is very simple, but they've taken it and put it somewhere else. But this is what you need to clear. Now, can you give your exam group wise? Of course you can, but it's dangerous because in the second group, there is case based, which are also from the first group, and hence it makes sense to give both groups. All right. So practically, it is important to give both groups together and clear both the groups together, and that's great. But guys, when do you go and how do you go to the final level is what I want to discuss. After the practical training of 2 years gets over, you basically have a 6-month window. This is a 6-month gap. So example, if June 24 is when I give my first foundation exam, then May 25 I will give my inter exam. After clearing that till 27, assuming August 27, because the results comes out and then you start doing articleship, is when you do practical training. After a 6-month gap, May 28 is when you will be giving the final exam. So basically in about 4 years now, the trajectory is just 4 years, you become a chartered accountant. So it's much faster process to becoming a CA. Around 4 years it what will take. So when you graduate, the next year you could ideally become a CA. So this 6-month gap, what all happens in the 6-month gap? A couple of things. First, you start studying for your exams. So this is a study period, official study period. You don't need to bargain for 3 and 4 months from your boss. Now there's a 6-month period for studying. Plus there's a IT course, which is a soft skill and IT course that you need to clear. Plus, there are some self-learning modules. Now, what are those? We'll talk about it. But these are 3 things that you need to do while you're studying for your final exams and that 6-month break. So let's talk about the last part now, which is self-learning modules. Now, what are these self-learning modules? They said that, listen, as a CA, you should have knowledge about some other subjects also. So basically things like law, things like costing. There is one elective paper and there is one other paper. Again, this is choice. These both have last 2 have choices. When I mean choices, you can choose whether you want to study international tax, economics, entrepreneurship, etc. And these papers are really nice. What is self-learning module? Is self-learning modules are things that you can give at your home at your convenience. When I say home, it can be office, cafe, anywhere. Again, it can be no number of attempts. No attempts. You can give it as many times as you want till you clear them. No negative marking. So there will be no negative markings here as well. No counting. Basically, these marks will not be counted for your final exams, and there will be no fees for these exams as well. So it's great. Keep doing them in those 6 months or even before that. But the thing is, you need to clear them before your final exam. So clear before final. So if you don't clear them, you cannot attempt and give your final exams. You need to clear all these 4 self-learning modules. Only one exception is for May 24 students. Basically, the first batch of new course, they can give the self-learning modules even after CA final exam. This is only and only for May 24. But guys, I am not worried about SLM self-learning modules because they are something that you can do at home, and hence there is no worry at all. So this is for people who want to enter this course afresh. Now let's quickly talk about people who are transitioning. Transitioning basically means, let's talk about the first person who will want to transit, or the first person who is going to go through this transition phase, the foundation students. So if you're already at this level, which is the foundation level, now what happens? Example, I've just given my June foundation exam, or I've already registered for the next exam. So then the foundation exam, whatever has happened, now you go into the new scheme. That means your CA inter will be under the new scheme. Your practical training will be 2 years, and your CA final again will be new scheme, that is 6 papers. So foundation people, your transition is very smooth. What about if I'm at intermediate level, how do I transition? All right, so let's talk about the first intermediate who's giving both the groups and both groups are cleared. If you've cleared both the groups, that means the old course, you've cleared both the groups, then great. Then what do you need to do? After you clear that, you need to do practical training again for 2 years. And you need to give CA final, again 6 papers. So life is good there if you clear both the groups. What if I've cleared only one group? In the old scheme, if I've cleared one group. Now here is some detail that you should know. Guys, if you cleared group 1, that means you've also cleared costing exam. Then you need to give only group 2 2 papers. That means you don't need to give costing if you've cleared group 1. If you've cleared a costing paper, you don't need to give that. And then you need to give practical training again 2 years, same thing. Plus again CA final, again 6 papers, so same thing. So basically group 1, if you've given the whole thing, group 2 you need to give only in the 2 papers, that is without costing. That is great news. And what if I've given group 2? Same. If you've given group 2 under the old scheme and you've cleared it, then you will have to only give group 1 and the same, and the journey remains the same. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that whatever exams you already cleared, example, you cleared costing paper, you don't need to give it again. If you have any exemption, they will be carried forward. So you don't need to worry too much about it. So this is for people who are at the CA inter level. Now, third transition, people who are already doing articleship, that is basically article students. Let's talk a little bit about those article students. What will happen to them? Here it is. So here are article students. Guys, this is unfortunate. I'm putting a sad face here because unfortunately, if you've registered, you will have to complete 3 years of articleship. There is nothing that you can do in transition for articleship, but then CA final will be only 6 papers. So there is basically a relief there for people who register under as an article already. But guys, just a pro tip, if you're wondering about articleship, any new articleship from today, actually from 1st July onwards, will only be of 2 years. There is no 3-year articleship now starting 1st July. And fourth, if you're in the final, under the old scheme, if you're in the final, then again the same thing. If you've cleared group 1, then you don't need to give it again. If you've cleared group 2, then you don't need to give it again. Only the balance papers and the balance groups you need to give. So that is how it is. And if you're giving the final in the old course, then you have the SLM exemption that you can give it even after clearing a CA final exam. Guys, this is how it is. Now let's talk a little bit about what has changed. And has it become more difficult? Honestly, no. Law and costing has been removed. A few concepts of costing will be taken at inter level. A few concepts of law will be taken at inter level. So don't worry, there's not much addition. In tax, let's talk about tax. In tax, honestly, there's not much change. I'm talking about inter tax. DT, which was earlier 60 marks, is now 50 marks. Why have they reduced it? Because they've added it here. GST was feeling odd at 40 marks, so they've made it both 50 marks. 1-2 small topics have been added in GST, but nothing major. Honestly, guys, in terms of portion, nothing major has changed. But in terms of the entire course, it has become much easier to now do this course. So I sincerely feel you've liked this video. This video is based on the FAQ that has been released by ICI. Mostly, this video should be watched by people who are doing the transition phase. It'll be really helpful for them to see how this transition works. So I hope you found it useful. If any queries, do let me know. All the best and see you as a chartered accountant really soon.